This just in, we have a BAROCLINIC Zone set up across Manitoba to start off our work week. What does that mean? Well, it means we have a tight temperature gradient set up across our province, and we also have an active storm track setting up. Let's get into it. Well, good morning, everyone. This is Justin with the Weather Center of Manitoba, and thank you for tuning in to our daily weather update here on this January 27th. Let's get into our Mesonet portal here and look at our current temperatures across southern Manitoba, and wow, are we starting off the work week very warm here across southern Manitoba, and in fact, most of Manitoba. We can check out the north here in a moment as well. But let's start off here across the south. Let's check out our southwest corner. Melita, Manitoba is currently at minus 0.8 at 12:17 p.m. And the city of Brandon is currently up to minus 1.8. We go east along the Trans-Canada. We can see Portage is up to +1, so above zero here in Portage. Winnipeg at the Forks, also right around the freezing mark. We can look even further south here, Morden-Winkler area, right up around the freezing mark at 0.3. Over by Steinbach, minus 0.5, and over in Emerson currently, minus 0.2. So really, we're seeing temperatures across much of southern Manitoba either at or slightly above the freezing mark here on this Monday early afternoon. Now let's head up into the Interlake region. We see a little colder here in Fisher Branch, minus 8. Dauphin is at minus 1. And then up here in Swan River, up across western Manitoba, minus 3.6. Grand Rapids is a little bit colder as we go north, but still not bad for January. Minus 7.7 up in Grand Rapids. We can see that the Paw is currently minus 10. Keep going up here to Thompson, Manitoba, minus 16. So you don't really get into that really cold air until you get around Thompson and further north. Lynn Lake, minus 15. Tadouli Lake is minus 22, and then up here in Churchill we have a stiff northerly wind and the temperature is minus 24. So that's where our very cold air is currently up across the far north and northeastern corner of the province. Okay, so let's get into our temperature story here. This is our 2-meter temperature anomalies for from now into going into the future here. So let's look, and you can see that we're starting off the day here, like I said, from about Thompson south. Everybody is well above the seasonal average. Thompson 7 above the average, and we see it really gets warm as we go into southern Manitoba through the Interlake down Brandon, Portage, Winnipeg, Dauphin. All around 15 to 20 degrees above the seasonal average. And that just continues throughout this week. And look at here on Tuesday. What a surge of warm air here on Tuesday. We have temperatures up across western Manitoba, the Parkland region, spilling into the Interlake, 20 degrees above the seasonal averages for this time of the year. We continue going, and then we get some cooler air here coming in throughout Tuesday night into Wednesday. But generally this week, we can see all this orange across southern Manitoba. That means our temperatures are going to be above seasonal averages for a good portion of this week until finally we get into the weekend. Into Friday and Saturday, we see some cooler temperatures finally flood into the eastern prairies, with temperature values going back to our seasonal averages and even slightly cooler than our seasonal averages going into the early part of next week. Okay, so let's check out our low pressure systems here and temperature values this week, and we can really see what I want to show you guys is what I was talking about in our intro to the video, our what we call a BAROCLINIC zone that sets up here across central Manitoba. You can see here's our pressure numbers. We got 994, 996, 998. But what I want you to hone in on here is our temperatures here up across western Manitoba towards Flin Flon and the Paw, north of Swan River here Tuesday morning. You can see temperature values are 0 to +1. And then as you go east, not too far, we see a very drastic temperature change where we're going from 996 pressure here at 0 +1, and then 996 pressure over here, minus 15 to minus 20. So that is a tight temperature gradient, but along the same BAROCLINIC zone for Tuesday setting up here. And then as we go through Tuesday, we can see that again, that tight temperature gradient keeps on going, and we see southern Manitoba 0 to +2, and then we see across the north temperatures are in the minus 20s across the far north. So that is a large difference over not a huge pressure change area. Okay, so let's check out our expected snowfall for the next few days as we have that zone setting up here across Manitoba, and with that zone we just talked about, we're going to be having an active storm track with a at least one, if not two, Alberta Clipper systems setting up and cutting right through the central portion of the province here over the next 2 or 3 days. And so as we go through time here, we see here's our first Clipper system moving across northern Saskatchewan and then extending southeastward and moving toward northwestern and western portions of Manitoba. So we expect the snow to start falling across northern and northwestern Manitoba by the very early morning hours of Tuesday, before the sun has even rose. And then the snow continues to fall throughout the morning on Tuesday and into the early afternoon. It looks like the heaviest snow is going to be north of the Paw and Flin Flon. The Paw and Flin Flon could still see about 5 to 10 centimeters of snow, but the bulk of the snow is going to be to the north through Lynn Lake, Manitoba, and then southeast through the northern portion of the Interlake, including Grand Rapids, and then also areas to the north of the Red River Valley here, going toward the western sections of Lake Winnipeg, and then also continuing southeast toward the northern Whiteshell area. Again, a general swath here of 10 to 20 centimeters, less as you go southeast toward that northern Whiteshell region, maybe about 10 centimeters of snow by the end of our Tuesday. So generally what we're looking at for the first few days of this week is our drastic change in temperatures from the northern portion of the province to the southern part of Manitoba. And we're also watching our active storm track through central Manitoba over the next 2 or 3 days, bringing us 10 to 20 centimeters of snow. Definitely, if you're across southern Manitoba, enjoy the warmth. Definitely going to be slushy and melty and muddy out there the next few days. But then we'll see our temperatures cool off by the end of the week, into the weekend, and going into early next week. So enjoy the warmth while it's here. Our friends across the north, it's going to be cold. Could be quite a bit of fresh snow from central to northern Manitoba. So winter just keeps on rolling up there, and southern Manitoba gets a little bit of an early taste of spring. Have a great week, everyone. We'll talk to you soon.